Hello, everybody. My name is Prasad Sangameshwaran. I'm the editor of etbrandequity.com, and I welcome all of you to the first edition of our knowledge series, Contact, a knowledge series presented by Z5 and brandequity.com. On session one, we're going to look at the impact of COVID-19 on media and advertising. Our esteemed panelist today is Ujjaini Mitra, the head of data sciences at Z5 India. Just to go through a small introduction, as all of you know, the present pandemic and the resulting nationwide lockdown has impacted the Indian media and advertising industry like never before. But it's also pushed all of us to further explore the potential of digital technologies and be better prepared for these challenging and changing times. To help marketing professionals boost their understanding of how data science, artificial intelligence, and other third party tools and technologies can empower them further to harness media platforms better, and also help them in engaging with their target customers in a far more effective manner. etbrandequity.com, in association with Z5, has organized a series of live webinars. The first one, like I told you, is the impact of COVID-19 on media and advertising, how we can empower advertising through data science and AI. The key points of discussion today will be the impact of COVID on marketing and advertising, how brands are becoming more digitally aware and engaging customers, how do we use data science and artificial intelligence to empower our advertising further and improve our ROIs, and the fourth point will be on leveraging third party data tools to deliver the right customer profiling and also a sharper targeting. So, an introduction about our speaker, Ujjaini Mitra, the head data scientist at Z5 India, is a senior executive with rich leadership experience in establishing data as a culture at large organizations. She is successfully built and led centers of excellence through creative methods. She is also deployed leading business strategies through data driven actionable insights. She holds a postgraduate degree in MSQE econometrics and economics from the Indian Statistical Institute, Kolkata. Uh, Her work experience is spread across the globe and across industries: telecom, media, tech, e commerce, consumer products, healthcare, digital media, retail banking, travel, and hotels or hospitality. You name it, she's been there, done that. She's worked in the past with companies like McKinsey, Viacom 18, Flipkart, Airtel, and now at Z, she's building a center of excellence for ZFi, spanning across business intelligence and business analytics, predictive and prescriptive modeling, artificial intelligence, market research, and the digital lab. She is leading the team that collectively serves the single source of truth and answers the what, how, and why of business strategies. And like Ujjaini was telling me, once in media, you'll be in media forever. So she's here for a long stint. Over to you, Ujjaini.
Thank you, Prashad. Thanks. That's a very kind introduction. Thanks everyone for having me for this session. So all of us know about the current situations, and after the first lockdown, now our honorable Prime Minister has also started the second lockdown. So I thought this could be a right time to also speak about the lockdown 2.0 impact and how that is happening on the media. And as you said, moving towards Z5, as we know the insiders' informations. And then a big part of it, I would also talk about how the whole advertisement industry, even the media industry, is changing it, and how data science is actually helping to be prepared and be innovative to be able to survive and do well during these disruptive situations. So, let's see how has been our life or our media exposures before the lockdown started, or before we ever encountered COVID-19 and suddenly started to work from home. So we generally would get up somewhere between 6 to 9 a.m. We'll be at home. Then there is a travel time to work morning, generally between 8 to 9, 10. That time we will be reaching in office. Then there is a afternoon time, lunch, or having some workplace conversations. Then come the evening around 3 to 6 p.m. Once again, you would have lots of either meeting or snacks time or hangout time. During the evening time is the time to come back home. Either you go and hang out with your friends, going to movie or shopping, or come back home. And then night is when you are relaxing at home or and trying to get some entertainment. In this whole process, there are certain media exposures that you are going through. So morning, we have seen that when you are in home, you are either reading a newspaper or watching on TV the news, or catching up on mobile of previous night notifications and etc. Morning, you are also when you are traveling, either you are getting hoardings, the out of home hoardings, you're reading newspaper or on mobile, you are watching some content. It could be news, it could be actually catching up on the TV content, which you probably didn't get chance to do earlier. During the afternoon, once again, lots of short break, short content. People who are at home at that time, they are actually watching lots of TV content, catching up long form content at home. In the evening time, access to mobile. In the evening time, when you are coming back, once again, you have an exposure to out of home, cinemas, mobile, shopping, movie, friends, etc. And then the night time after dinner, you generally watch your favorite, either a favorite movie or your favorite original content, TV, and all those stuffs. Now that was a very standard life that was happening before lockdown. Now comes a completely different situations, a lockdown, everybody at home. You're not going office, but you're still working from home. You have your kids are not going school. Your spouse, your kids, your parents, whoever are staying together, your pets, all of them are together, right? So there is a and it is also restricted any mass gathering. So that you are working from home doesn't mean that you can go and hang out with your friends. So all those things are totally out of our life. So we have restricted mass gathering. Schools and colleges are shut, so kids are not going to schools and colleges. Office goers are not going to office. Shutdown of any recreational centers like movies or kind of performing arts, those are all shut. Cut down on travel because we are working from home, we are not traveling out, and also because mass gatherings and travels, all the flight has been cancelled, trend has been cancelled, everything has been dropped, so travels are also not necessarily happening. Sports event, those has been called off. No new show production. Now, that is something very specific to media because media is heavily dependent on the shootings that those are happening. And the TV shows that you see every day on the TV channels, those are actually getting periodically shot over time. Now, those shootings all have been cancelled, right? So, no new episodes are coming of your favorite shows for which you every day probably would have glued either to the TV or to your mobile every day on a regular basis. So those are not bringing new episodes. So what happens? So we have limited mobility, limited medium of entertainment, looking for all in-house entertainment options, right? So that's the situation during the lockdown. So what does it do? So home entertainment and family time has drastically increased. It has gone a huge jump over the period, whereas the travel, restaurant, outdoor events, those have seen a significant drop. So when we look at some external data, what we find, travel has dropped 64%. Restaurants, mall or multiplex, visiting friends, any fitness centers, even for that matter, those have all gone down. What has seen a drastic increase at that point? The first and foremost one is the home entertainment because you are logged and the only screen you have, either your mobile screen or your laptop screen or your tablet screen or your TV. right? So these are the home entertainment. You, of course, if you have the gaming consoles, those are the things. Your family time has drastically increased. Before this, many people would have complained about we don't have a work-life balance and not have enough family time. Now is the time you are all with your family, everybody together, even with your pets, children, spouse, parents, everyone, whoever are there in your family. Online shopping, because now you cannot go out and necessarily go to a big shop from where you can buy it. Either you are going to the nearby or the delivery options has increased. Buying medicines, of course, because it's a medical situation, buying medicine has increased. Visiting to doctor and health checkup, those have increased, right? But the one which has been impacted very heavily and gone directly up, almost close to 2x, 1.8 to 2x, is actually the home entertainment, right? Let's see, therefore, even in the entertainment, what has happened? So, because no new episodes are coming, TV is seeing a surge at the back of news and movies. Print, I was actually going through lots of videos where newspaper comes through multiple hands and it gets delivered by human hands. Lots of households actually has cut down even buying newspapers, right? Uh, so a newspaper printing and distribution during this lockdown also has seen a restriction because there is almost negligible mobility. Therefore, having a hoarding outside home, out of home, also doesn't make sense now. So OOH has become an almost an irrelevant because of no movement of traffic, and digital is the biggest surge there. So consumers are now spending time online than ever before, resulting in a huge viewership, huge spike of data consumption, and therefore advertisements are learning that this is the time. If we have to move towards digital, this is the time, because digital has seen, like, all the eyeballs are now there. If all the eyeballs are there, and if I have to advertise about a product, then digital is the space. So this is also, when we have seen some external data, this is, we are looking about, other ticket booking apps, because the events are not necessarily happening, are all ideally cancelled. So ticket booking apps have also seen a drastic decline. So how nations is staying updated if all these things are getting restricted? First of all, they're increasing the in-house entertainment. They are actually watching all the news online, because now, you know all the big news are breaking first on the online mediums, on the news apps, on the OTT platforms, wherever there are the news channels possible. Rise of digital entertainment, families need to keep kids busy, so even the kids consumption has increased heavily. Like the other day, I was doing a video conference with my office colleagues, and I found that, one of my colleagues son came in and told that, I want YouTube, and I want to watch a content, because, and that kid is a kind of trying to talk to the father, and father needs to keep the kid busy. So the kids content consumption has drastically increased. He had to go out and, put him on some kids content so that he can enjoy, and then came back. So spike in the video conferencing tools, because zero physical meeting possible, but all the meetings are now happening on the video conferencing tool, like today we are speaking. Shift to the online news consumptions, and consumers looking for original long form content. So earlier, even now, because the entertainment not necessarily coming from the TV shows, which was their favorite TV shows, people are still need to be entertained when they're at home, and they're looking for the original content, long form content. People are buying a lot more, content subscriptions, and actually watching those. So this comes from Nielsen, what they have seen at the, based on, their syndicated data, that pre-lockdown people were consuming on digital platform daily around 150 minutes, which has drastically grown, almost 87% grew, and made it 280 minutes per person per day were spending on the digital content. And this growth has actually seen the bigger growth on the OTT platform or the or digital content. So, as we said, the OTT consumption trends, therefore, in time of lockdown has directly increased. We are seeing that, spike in viewership almost 1.6x, time spent has grown 1.8x, increase cross time band. So earlier, if there were very specific time when people were consuming content, now that has extended over the hours. Connected devices viewership has grown up to almost 3x, and the genres have suddenly become large are the news, movies, kids, live events, food, and many more. And therefore, every platform are adding multiple hours of new content, either fresh content or archival contents are coming back on the platform. So now let's see, I would love to give a little insider view of, what we have seen in the Z5, because this is where we have the real consumer data, where we see every day how many people are coming on our platform and how they're consuming, how much they're consuming. So when we see this, even if you don't, see it within the Z5, even if you just go and see the consumers' interest about Z5 on the Google trend, we clearly see that has actually gone through a spike. So before the COVID-19, before the lockdown versus the lockdown period, there is an upward surge that we have seen. This increase, this growth has been healthy even across profile. So it is not that some people are coming onto these platforms a lot, but it is a very kind of a very uniform distribution, uniform growth of different age groups, different gender of people. So male female both has increased between 1.2 to 1.5x. If you look at the young people of the 18 to 24 kind of first jobbers, to even the very elder people like 55 plus, the ripe age people, all of them are coming a lot on the platform, and everything has grown close to 1.5, almost 1.5x. Then we wanted to see that is this growth more at the more happening at the central locations like the metro cities, or is it also coming from across India? What surprised us that it is actually an all India phenomenon. It is no more a metro phenomena, because for a long time OTT platforms were very much a metro phenomena, but now it is no more. It is an all India phenomena. And when we see the growth that is coming from the smaller town, so we actually looked at wherever our footprints are, and very significant footprints are, we started looking at for small towns. For example, even look at Mangalore, look at Siliguri, look at Bhubaneswar, look at Surat, Pimpri Chinchwad, which is a town beside Pune. And when we look at those, Lucknow, Varanasi, all the places, every place they have grown, and they have grown almost uniformly. Some has between 1.5 to 2.5x. Everybody has grown, and these are the users who are now started experiencing. Therefore, the new eyeballs are coming to digital. This is the time when we can actually, if a product has to advertise and reach out to these people, this is the best time to catch them on the digital platform. So even I feel that the advertisement, their spend and their outlook are also changing drastically. So let's look at what kind of content has seen how much growth. So when we have looked at Z5, we found that movie viewership has surged almost 3.4x. That's large, like 3x, 3.5x growth is large. Live news has grown 3x. Kids content, again, it has grew 3x. Food content, like earlier people used to come and watch different food videos, how to cook. Now people are at home, and we call it work from home and work for home. So because at many of you, as you know, that because of the mobility restrictions, our helping hands are not necessarily able to come home, so many of the works are also getting done by us. So many of us are probably experiencing the first time cooking, or going back to kitchen, and food video consumption therefore has seen a good spike on our platform. Daily music consumptions, spike in premium content. As I was talking, that TV new episodes are not necessarily coming. Therefore, people are looking for what are the other contents, what are the premium contents. People are even ready to subscribe and get entertained and watch the premium contents. New genres are gaining popularity. So what we found that, had this diversified growth, we wanted to therefore, that actually encouraged us that there are the new genres that can gain popularity. What we have found when we have, this is not just behavioral data, but when you speak to consumers, when you understand their emotional requirement, we realize that this is the time which also people want to go back and connect to themselves. Music is something that is helping them. Things which are in-home yoga classes, that's helping them, the meditation classes. So we have started introducing completely new kind of genres on our platform, and we have found a really really good growth on those consumptions, like Supermoon Live, Sangeet Setu, which is actually bringing a 3-day event with the bigger music stars. So those are actually finding, like Vipassana classes. We have the Vipassana meditation videos. Those have found Sadhguru videos. Those are actually gaining a huge popularity. The beautiful part here is OTT. When we actually saw before lockdown, what we found that it is heavily a small screen, a personalized screen phenomena. Over last few months, we started observing that the personalized screen phenomena to the TV screen phenomena, the large screen phenomena, has started shifting slightly, and people are moving to the smart TV, connected devices, and they are casting on TV and watching the contents. Lockdown has drastically changed it. Over time, that has suddenly grew, because now it is, people are all together, all the families are together. So with the family time increasing, viewing has increased. Once again, the households are watching together, and if the households are watching together, three kinds of contents we found grew drastically on the large screens are content, news, and the movies. So consumers are no more this, not necessarily only within their mobile. They're also moving towards the large screen, and therefore that is where the brands, the brands who are catering to the household, this is also another good time to actually seeing the opportunity in this. And when we are talking about the different devices, so the diversity, if you notice, the diversity is going across genre, diversity is growing across different age group and gender profile, diversity going across different geographic location, and now the diversity also over the time. So earlier there were certain peak hours. So we have found that mostly digital platforms has two kind of peak hours. One is an afternoon hours between 2 to 4, and then there is a huge spike towards the late night times when people come back home. But because of the lockdown, that peak hours concept has extended. Now the peak hour actually starts even early morning 7 a.m. because people wake up and they want to know what has happened. They switch on the live news, and it starts from there. So with all this, there are so much new disruptions that is happening. What can help OTT platforms grow? And that is if you have a data, technology, and content. These three plays together, that can fuel the innovation and the preparedness for the disruptive period. So happens. So in Z5, so data, technology, and content plays a very strong nucleus role for us, and this, because data and technology plays a very close role along with content. What happens is it assures transparency, because data brings transparency in the whole system. There is no space of I feel or I think. If data is there, if something can be measured, it has to be measured by data, and once that is there, Therefore, it brings transparency, it brings measurability, and because we can transparently measure it, therefore, it also gives us the opportunity to scale, because we know where are the places where we can grow, how we can grow. So it actually, this is the place in the data capability, brand safety, quality of content, viewability, and a precise targeting. So I will very specifically focus at this particular space where it is the precise targeting. At one end, we have now large number of people coming to our platform. At the same time, if we can glue it, if we can combine it with the precise targeting, then nothing like it. That's the success. It is not just having good content on our platform, but this platform is more of a data and technology product beyond it just a content platform. So behind this Z5, whenever you watch the contents, behind this, there are n number of tools, third-party tools, which are integrated, which supports the business. These are some of the examples of the tools that we use, and I'm sure there are many more. So for example, we use Mixpanel, which actually tracks all the events. So that means, when a person is coming to the platform, what kind of content they are watching, which content, from which tray, how they are watching, what section of the content they are watching, all of this, what kind of search, a person is doing, all kind of contents are actually tracked. However, it is completely tracked at a consumer safety way. The PII is completely secure. And there we have a hashed alphanumeric ID against which this tracking happens, which is unique, but I don't know, or we don't know who is the person behind, or there is no way that we can track the person back. Therefore, it is completely a safe environment for consumers, safe environment for content, safe environment for advertisers. Put together creates the complete safe environment. Conviva, which ensures that the contents and ads are actually played properly. We constantly track that, what kind of player experiences are there. Is the player loading time is increasing? How can we optimize that? Axenome, this is the audience CRM. This is where all the audience profile, and that is where the safety way that we keep it. AxFlyer takes care of the audience sourcing attribution. Sugarbox takes care of the app access even without internet. So those zones where we not necessarily have good internet, could we also provide and help users to still watch content through Sugarbox? Thalamus is actually the content recommendation system. Charmboard, where the advertisers can come and actually show a product, and through the video commerce integration through Charmboard, if a consumer wants to directly purchase it, they can go and purchase it. So we have deep integrations with that. Optimove, so Optimove takes care of the MarTech. So how can we ensure that people are actually engaged within the content? The contents are engaging, but at the same time, in a very noisy world, how do you ensure that consumers come back again and again and they consume your content? Auto preview. So Minutely is a very nice AI product that is integrated with our platform. So what happens is it offers you auto preview of the content. Now, when it is an auto preview, it is not just the starting part of the content. It understands what is the taste cluster, what is the kind of content preference you have, and therefore within a content, which particular section it should auto play, so that you will be interested to watch that content. Now, once we do that, it increases the person's clickability to that content, and the moment a click increases, my ad view also increases. So more the attempts, more the video view, more is my ad view opportunities. Glassbox takes care of the consumer experience on the platform. So now put together, so this is actually here we are talking about all the internal data. So once a person comes to Z5 platform, what all different informations that we have. Now, if we club on top of that, the external, the third party informations, that is when we actually are able to create beautiful, innovative profiles. So we call it a one profile view, and this is an Infonomics CDP. So Infonomics CDP is the consumer data platform that we are building and have built a significant amount of it. What we have are the internal informations and then we also layer on top of that the external information through the second party and the third party informations, and then we create the segments. And once we create the innovative segments, targeting ads to those profiles becomes far more targeted. I will give an example for this so that it will be easy for you to understand. uh, in the advertisement worlds, we all are very familiar with the rich cross frequency things. Now, if probably you already know that on any platform, first there is a download that happens of the app, or the people just go to the websites. That's where, once you come to the platform, that's where it is the active users, and the number of active users actually creates the reach of the ads, the reach of the display ads. The moment a person view a content, that's where we call it a viewer. So these matrices are something, those are very important key performance matrices. Key performance matrices of the business is exactly same the key performance matrices for the ad delivery, because we need to have good number of users. We have to ensure that as many of them convert to viewers. The moment you have users, that gives you the reach for display ad. The moment we have more number of viewers, that gives you the opportunity to reach more video ads. And then the repeat viewing, the more and more impressions that these users come and contribute, more and more ad impressions that we are able to generate. And generally it says that couple of ad impressions, it at least take 2 to 3 times to watch an ad to be able to create a good impressions within that person. And then generally it moves to a purchase consideration and purchase decisions. Right. So with this, we track very transparently all the matrices, which helps our internal business as well as to deliver the advertisements. So what we do, so this is something we call as KYC, and as you know, KYC stands for Know Your Consumer. So we say that to know your consumer, you have to know your content, right? So KYC is equal to KYC, and we create a beautiful. We call it test clusters. So when you advertise on Z5 or any such OTT platform, just because of the kind of detailed information that we have, we actually can create test clusters. And if you know, in Z5, when we look at the millions of consumer coming to our platform, it almost, we have more than 160 test clusters. So people, the way they consume are very, very different. So we have very minute way to target them based on which content they watch, when they watch, how they watch, and which section of the content they watch, which device do they watch, how often do they watch. So there are so many varieties of KPI, and better transparent tracking gives us this kind of interesting clusters. Now we merge on top of that the third party informations. So then it comes this apographic data, then comes the geolocation based information, and then comes the engagement insights through our the external interest based informations. So we have integrations with different third party platform like MMSIND, StartApp, VShop, GeoTap, Lotame, Simplified 360, LiveSite, Kalagato, etc. So we have our own internal informations where people come and register and share their informations, but at the same time we also have at a completely hashed way to connect and understand at a group level, at a very micro segment level, what are the other profiles that those people are. And therefore, once we know that, it is very beautifully we can curl out nice segments for targeting ads. So this is a pyramid that we create. It starts with simple informations, for example, gender and age group. Then we start with what is the life stage the person is. Do we know, because based on age and based on other possibilities, we can actually target the life stages. Then the interest, what kind of interest, what kind of apps do a person use, what kind of locations do a person visit, what kind of other informations, interest that the person is showing. What kind of, what is the kind of persona? Is it a stay or a work or an education or a wallet? All those kind of information. Their affinity, time-bound affinity. For example, whether now is the time when I want to move from my hatchback car to a sedan car. This is the time I'm actually looking for it. That is the contextuality of my profile. Versus there are affinities which are non-time bound affinities, right? So for example, I am a fashion oriented person. I'm a fashionista. That is something, is a persona that I bear, that I carry with me, which is not necessarily changes with time. But that I'm searching for a house, that I'm looking to buy a new car, is a very time bound affinity. So that's where brings the contextuality and the persona, which is not time bound. When we club all these things together, that's where we create the custom segments. So I want to take an example, and let's take an example of a food tech brand who wants to say advertise on Z5. Now, what happens? A food tech brand would love to deliver the ads to people who are interested, or potential customers who are interested to order food. Now, once you think people who are interested to order food, how do you break it down? Now, it is not so easy to understand someone who are interested to order food. Either the person do not have time to cook, they are very busy at office, they are kind of a night owls, they work a long hours, and therefore, they're ordering food from outside. It could be the meal during the lunch hours, and there is nobody at home who can help you cook your lunch, and therefore in office you always order your food. Or you are a party person. Every weekend you love to gather with your friend, hang out with your friend, watch movie together, and therefore you order food at home. So there are different segments. Now, the moment you break it down, that a food tech company who is trying to reach out to people who wants to order food, we are breaking it down into what are the personas who will be ordering food. The moment we can break it down, we are able to then map all these informations together from the rich audience segments. Then we can figure out who are the people who actually are very professionals, who are working long working hours, who would be interested, who are the people who are party throwers, who are watching and calling friends, and they're gathering their or they have certain other kinds of food tech apps on their mobile or on their devices, right? And then combine that with what kind of contents. Now, when we're saying that you are someone who gather with your family or friends, when we connect together, it becomes easy that we deliver this ad to the binge watchers who have the other food apps, or absence of grocery apps, so that you don't necessarily order groceries because you don't necessarily cook. You're the night owl, you're a very busy person, and then weekend party throwers. And that's where it becomes very targeted. The beauty of it is, it doesn't just stop there. This whole information actually is a cycle. It comes back to our CDP, the consumer data platform, to be able to serve and deliver you the measurement after the ad has been delivered. So there are two parts. One is the pre-delivery of the ad. I have ample data to be able to deliver the ads to the targeted population. And after the ad has been delivered, the complete measurement with the right targeting, those are getting also to you transparently. Now, that is the beauty of a digital platform and an OTT platform. Now, I will quickly come to the section which is artificial intelligence and machine learning to play an important, that plays a very important role. What I will talk about here is, this is something I have read in one of the report, and one of a top consulting companies report, that 66% people say that they watch ad for the products which they don't necessarily want, which means that that's where it is not targeted. And if it is not targeted, it is not serving the purpose, right? So far, what we have spoken is the x-axis, as you see here, where it is geographic, demographic, and the interest profile. Who are you? So does the ad resonate to you? Are you actually interested buying or purchasing that product? Are you the decision makers? So most of the ad delivery is trying to actually work at this space. What actually the AI brings in are the two more axes, which not necessarily always gets considered. The first one is, are you in the mood of watching that ad? What is the content that you are watching, right? where within the content the ad is playing. So two parts of it. When you are watching a video or a movie and the ad comes in between, where is the position where the ad is coming? And what is the sentiment that movie is going through? Because when we watch a movie or watch a content, we also go through that similar emotional tracks. We also go through those kind of, am I in the mental situation to actually watch that ad? If that is not, then it completely suddenly breaks the user experience, and the ad not necessarily will resonate also, right? So is that the case? Second, even if I watch an ad, is there a way that I can contextualize the ad? Like, for example, if I watch an ad of Nescafe in one of the movie, will the ad change? Which will glue so much to the movie context versus, when I watch a completely different, TV show, it will change. Can that happen? Well, it's not that, it might sound like magic or something, but it's possible to do. So let's see how we, what I was talking about. It's a purely illustration, so don't go by the brand that the pictures are here. So it's mostly used for the illustration. So let's consider Kumkum Bhagya is one of a very known TV show, and the two characters Abhi and Pragya, they have gone through a divorce. Now that's a very sentimental situation, a situation where even the people who watch that TV show regularly, they also will be feeling very sad at that moment. They are in that kind of emotions. In between, the ad comes, and after that it is showing the female protagonist is actually crying because the person is sad. Now in between, because the person who is watching, the age, gender, demographic, everything matches so well for a music app to be delivered, music app ad to be delivered. Now, there is one music app which has a huge, loud expressions. Of course, it fits, for that, for the brand, but that may not contextually fit in the middle of this content. Whereas there could be another music product which is more subtle, more family oriented, and not necessarily has so much loud persona into it and could actually fit there. So that's where we not only understand who the person are, we also try to understand in what emotional mood the person is to be able to fit to the emotional quotient of the person to the brand that we want to target to them, right? And that's where AI plays a big role. Through AI, we actually can determine almost real time before the ad plays what is the scene emotion before it, what is the scene emotion after it, and which ad fits best in terms of the emotional quotient. We can even do what kind of products are there. Can I actually do a product augmentation which is almost on the fly? So it can do emotional tagging. We actually do the meta tagging of the content. We then map those profiles of the user. So that is where we are taking care of the both axis, the x-axis as well as the y-axis, and then the right product ad will be delivered there, right? That gives a completely new perspective of ad delivery. Now let's come to the situation that, okay, it is the same product ad. Can I actually contextualize based on two different contents where the ad is playing? Yes, even that could be done. So if we kind of know the product similarity, say for example, I have found on Z5 platform some two beautiful, very diverse kind of content. So this is a content where, Amitabh Bachchan is playing an Unforgiving Dawn scene. And when someone is watching this, imagine the emotional, happiness or the kind of, the dawn feel that a person has. And after, in the middle of that content, a Nescafe ad comes. Now, the end slate of the coffee ad, the whole ad doesn't need to change, but the advertiser can send us only that one copy of the ad video. But at the end slide, we can customize based on which content it will play. For example, at the end slide, at the end slate, we can put drink like a dawn. right? So when a person is watching this Dawn content of Amitabh Bachchan, on the other hand, the same content, the same ad video is playing in completely different content. A content which is more young, more youthful, is emergency love, and then in the middle when it is playing, everything remaining same. The end slate changes, the message changes. A love story. It all starts with an Nescafe. This is actually possible. We have done the prototype, and for advertisers, that's a huge value. So on the digital, where it is not just figuring out the direct consumers whom to reach out to, you can also know when to reach out to, you can also know how to reach out to. So with the same ad, it will be able to touch the right consumer at the right emotional time with the right kind of message. And with that, that's the bingo, right? So that's all I had to say, and that's how it is helping Z5 to be prepared with this innovative ways through data and artificial intelligence. I'm sure this will be helping our listeners, and any questions that may be there, I'm more than happy to answer.
Hi, Ujjwani. It was a very, very enlightening presentation. Thank you so much for taking so much time out and,
Thank
bringing
you.
so much passion into this talk. Yeah, so lots of questions have come in. So the first
Mm-hmm,
one that I'm going to kick off with is, how is Z5 encashing on the opportunities provided by the lockdown? That's one question.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
What are the
So
new what are the new initiatives you have taken? How many more markets have you expanded your presence to, and so on?
right, right. So I think one of the slide I kind of showed it. Couple of things as I spoke about. The first one is we have seen that our in penetration to many smaller markets are actually coming up at this moment. For example, like if you look at the north, like Ludhiana, that is a market which is this a very small market, but with the Punjabi content, that market is growing heavily. We are bringing in a lot more content, which are language content, very specific to those people of their interest. So one is that, and the second one is spread across the genre. I think that is where we are playing heavily. So two parts. One is playing with the new genres, playing with the languages, ensuring the delivery of the content happens smoothly, because that's very important. When the people coming from the tier two towns, it's not necessary they have mobiles which are of very high RAM size. And if it is not a RAM size, we need to ensure for a smooth experience the video is delivered with the right size. And that is where actually we are winning heavily, because we have the proper AI driven transcoding system which is taking care of it.
Nice, very interesting. And I also seeing in the slide that the markets like Davangere and Faridabad, which Faridabad I think has like outperformed all markets put together.
Yeah,
What is the is yeah, there seems to be a data deluge in Faridabad.
exactly.
Yeah, so what would
And
you
small
attribute
market,
this kind of?
sorry, say on.
No, no, I was asking what would you attribute that to?
Um, So I think two things. One, of course, the situation which you can't change, and because people are not able
Yeah,
to go out. If Z5 is bringing new content, and we understood. So even before the lockdown happens, we actually understood people's persona very well. So when you showed you this 163 different test clusters that we have of our consumers, and when we bring content, we actually also figure out that which of the content are the nearest match with which kind of test cluster. So therefore, when a new consumer comes to our platform, we actually can quickly match and give a hyper personalized content of their preference. So knowing the consumer very closely, even looking at all the data, harnessing all the data, along with the technology so that we can deliver it very smoothly. These two things together, along with the content, the new content that you are bringing to the platform, very quickly we are able to bring lots of new content. And I think that's where we have lots of partnerships and we understand the consumer. All these things put together is the success.
Speaking about partnerships, here somebody who's very interested in knowing, is there any data on how other sources like e-papers are doing? Have you, when you mentioned about premium content seeing a 2x,
Mhm.
here is a person who wants to know if there is any data on the increase in subscription of e-papers.
Well, so let me see. I think we saw something here. So, at this moment, I do not have a quantitatively, but yes, the online news consumptions, e-papers has, of course, increased. And if we see particularly on the Z5 platform, uh, two kinds of thing, right? One is the video part of the news versus the
Right.
story part of the static part of the news. Both has seen pretty good growth. Like if we see any third party platforms, for example App Annie or SimilarWeb, you will be able to observe that those platforms also has grown pretty strongly.
And the next question is, how can advertisers and marketers, you know, adapt and promote their businesses in this situation?
Okay. um I think, as I said, like the world is changing. The consumer is actually getting accommodated to this new normal, and I'm not sure whether this new normal will suddenly change even when the lockdown opens up, because people in this situation for this many days, I think they're also getting habituated of completely new things. And this is the time
Yeah. In fact, they say, right,
marketing.
it takes 21 days to build a habit.
Exactly. So, I mean, I do not know. I was looking at some of the research, and
They
there they
say
were
that,
saying
yeah, with tobacco, it's documented that, it takes 21 days to either break a habit or make a habit. So,
exactly,
and they say it's
exactly.
similar to media. Yeah.
Exactly. So even after the lockdown, I'm not sure. This is a new normal. It is completely establishing itself as a new normal. So if that is the thing, I think this is the time when you should connect with the digital platforms and think about how do you change your advertisement budget to the more digital oriented. Uh, you first of all, as we figured out of home suddenly became really obsolete in this particular period of time. You can absolutely channelize that whole budget into the digital platform. And knowing the platforms where, particularly the platform who knows their consumers very well, who are invested heavily in knowing consumer personas. I think if you invest your marketing dollars there, then you know that it reaches the right targeted audience, it gets delivered, it gets measured, it gets actually give you transparency and therefore the ROI of your marketing bucks.
So, and here's a question directed at how are OTT platforms coping with this huge increase in traffic? So, how did you kind of ramp up at the back end when things were like,
Mhm.
you know, so drastic in the change? Like overnight, traffic just like zoomed. So,
Right, right. Once again, I will say if you have the right data and technology, because most of these OTT platforms run on cloud, right? So, unlike the on-prem technologies where, scaling up is a very big challenge, here when it happens on cloud, actually auto scaling is really possible. And auto scaling is possible almost within a nanoseconds of time. It just needs that kind of infrastructure to be there. So two things that we have worked heavily when we got to know about the lockdown. We actually all the senior executives put together and quickly figured out that what are the things which are going to be disruptive. We started looking at data almost near real time, I would say every hourly level. and we quickly figured out that what are the things changing fast. We predicted how are the things going to change, and then technology teams sitting along with us immediately then figured out where we have to channelize our bandwidth, where we have to scale up our backend system versus where we can help. Two things together, and then content is another very important bucket to strategize. Because of this, as I told, all the TV shows, the new episodes actually been switched off.
TV shows was what percentage of the overall viewership traffic?
So if you look at Z5 or any other OTT platform which are hybrid, which is backed by the broadcasters, so they have a AVOD business which is completely based on the TV contents, and then TV contents as
Correct.
news, movie, the TV shows, right? And TV shows
Yeah.
being a very regular kind of phenomena, you will find close to almost 50-60% of the heavy backed by the consumers, loyal consumers coming and watching those kind of contents every day, right? And that comes 5 days a week, so almost 20 to 22 days of a month. So these people come regularly on the platform, watch the content. That's a big number. So if suddenly that pipeline gets dries out, then we need to be able to deliver content which are very similar of their preference. And that is the moment we because we had our older the previous analysis done at a test cluster level. I think it's good that we did that exercise way ahead of this lockdown, and we actually been able to use it very heavily at this moment, because then we looked at who are these people who come regularly, what are the content do they watch, and what are the other contents that we can bring from the either elsewhere or from the archival content, which will be very matching and will be apt for these consumers, and then bring those kind of contents first on the platform. So understanding consumer and their preferences at a very granular, hyper personalized level, connected with therefore the content decisioning, and connected with the delivery through the proper technology backbone, put together actually created creating the success, and we could do that pretty quickly.
Nice. So, there are a couple of questions on, is this a primarily urban phenomena or a tier one city phenomena, or is this a pan India phenomena? The increase in
Mhm.
consumption.
So I kind of already answered that, and as I
Yeah.
said, it is actually a pan India phenomena, which we not necessarily always. So this is the one. If you actually
Right.
see here, so
Yeah.
where OTT platforms always are very much metro city driven phenomena, but this time, now is the time when we have found that very, very small, like even if you look at us down south, like Devanagare is actually a very small town, right? Mangalore is still, many people will be knowing about Mangalore. How many of you even know about
Yeah.
Devanagare, right? Even there it is 1.9, close to 2x surge. So people from
Yeah.
small town class are actually coming out, and the entertainment is something at times I think it becomes not necessarily a luxury anymore. Entertainment is something which is almost like a
Correct.
necessity to people, and more of a necessity at this moment when people are more locked down. They don't I mean, we do not have all the works that a person otherwise would have done going out. And because of that, quickly people are learning, adapting, and coming up to this digital platform. Wherever they're finding their interesting contents, people are even telling others, and and the surge is happening. So it's actually an all India phenomena. It's not just a tier, I mean, the metro class phenomena.
Amazing. Thank you very much, Ujjaini. This has been like a very enriching discussion over the last 1 hour. I'm sure all the panelists enjoyed this as much as we did out here, and would love to be in touch with you. Thank you so much for spending so much time and effort with us.
Thank you so much. It was lovely talking here, and really enjoyed answering the
Yeah.
questions. Thank you so much. Stay home
And
and stay safe.
looking forward to meet you. Yeah, yeah. And looking forward to meeting you on the other side of the lockdown sometime soon.
Sure,
Okay.
sure, absolutely.
Bye bye.
Thank you so
Bye
much.
bye bye.
Bye.